I'm William King from Manx Radio's news team, and in this podcast you can hear my full interview with Manx bodybuilder Rio Garcia. Rio competed at his first ever bodybuilding show recently at Pure Elite in Manchester, and, as you'll hear, he won 4 categories and secured his pro card. I started by asking the 24-year-old how long he'd been bodybuilding for.
The bodybuilding didn't actually start until April this year. So before that, I was just preparing for a photo shoot because I was doing like a little weight loss journey. I was always the little fat kid, you see. In my year, I was always the bulky one. So I was tired of, being the round one. So I was like, I think it's time I make a change in my life.
So when did that start then, your weight loss journey?
So it started September last year. So it was after my birthday, just been out camping with my family and ate so much food and drank a load of alcohol. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, it's time for a change. So it's one of those.
Yeah. And I mean, clearly you've stuck with it.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd last this long, to be honest with you.
I mean, so many people will know the feeling, particularly maybe like January or whatever, maybe after a big birthday, of thinking, I'm going to lose weight. Very few people go on to actually compete on a stage at a bodybuilding competition.
That's it, yeah. I didn't really expect it when I started in September to be on stage by like a year later. I think what helped was our trip to Philippines in December. So that really helped because it gave me a little break from like the whole process of losing weight and being in a deficit, because obviously I could eat whatever I wanted when I was back home.
What was that trip then?
So it was back. We went back home to Philippines in December. So it's just for New Year. So we went back home.
So having that little break,
little break in the middle, yeah. So obviously you have Christmas and stuff. A lot of people are a bit like, they don't give themselves a break, and it's a bit of a mental thing, really. It's a mental battle more than anything.
What's the difference in your head between I'm on my weight loss journey and, my coach just said I'm looking good, I'm going to be on the stage. What's that shift like for you? How do you have to change what you're doing?
So it's mainly the way you think, really. It's for me, with the weight loss journey, I was just doing it for myself kind of thing. But with the competition, I was just thinking, I'm going to be up on stage here, next to all these other guys. And I'm going to be compared to them. So I'm like, I need to look my best, better than the photo shoot, better than anything. So I needed to get in that mindset of I can't be slacking off. Every step target that I need to hit, every meal I need to get in, because it is important to get your meals in. Obviously, you're trying to lose weight, but you still have to eat. You need to fuel your body.
Talk me through that then. In the run-up to the show then, what was your training like? What was your eating like? How did it work for you?
So training and stuff, it was more just trying to maintain my strength, because obviously my food was slowly going, decreasing in calories. But my training, I was trying to just maintain the same weights. I wasn't really trying to push further than what I'm used to, because that's when you start to injure yourself, because you're on such low calories. If you start trying to push more weight and stuff like that, you will end up injuring yourself. So my coach said, Danny Hands, he's a good lad. He just said, just try and maintain what you are used to doing. Even if it's the same weight, just do more reps kind of thing. Because you are on such low calories, you will injure yourself if you start pushing more weight.
How often a week would you have been training for this?
With training, I was actually in the gym pretty much every day. My rest day would consist of cardio. So it would either be on the bike or on the Stairmaster.
Crikey.
Stairmaster was probably not my favourite, but I did quite enjoy it because I got to watch Netflix while I was on there.
That's a very good... That's probably the most active way to watch Netflix, isn't it?
That's it, exactly. It's not really Netflix and chill, but yeah, it helps. It helps pass the time, definitely.
What were you watching?
I was watching the Michael Jordan documentary, so The Last Dance, and I was watching the new Arnold documentary as well, just to keep myself going.
Oh, very good, yeah. Interesting.
So,
all right, so then you enter your first bodybuilding competition in end of July. You started getting ready for this specifically in April. And tell us what happened.
Started in April. I was already quite in good shape because of the photo shoot, but my coach let me have like a little week of just indulging, just getting all the cravings out of my system, just so I could have like whatever I wanted and get it out of my system, just so I'm not craving it while we're prepping for the show. And then flew by, to be honest with you, the time that I was prepping for the show. I thought we had loads of time. I think we had like 12, 13 weeks or something like that in total, and it just flew by. You'd think it wouldn't fly by that fast, but when you're going day to day, like gymming, training, preparing your food and everything, it does fly by. Next thing you know, I'm on the boat going to Liverpool, driving to Manchester. Yeah.
And then you went and won, not one medal.
Not just the one, yeah.
You won four categories.
4 categories, yeah. So I won the transformation one, the tattooed muscle model, the normal muscle model, and then the classic physique as well. So it was a busy day.
What's that feeling like then? I mean, I've no idea how these days work. Do they all get announced at once, or is it through the day?
Yeah, so they all get announced at once. So they announce it at the end of the show. So whoever won that category, and then they do an overall as well. So yeah, it's insane. I was very nervous at the start, but as soon as you hear the crowd, it just helps. Like when they're cheering and everything, everyone was very supportive as well. Like I was expecting someone to be there and be like, kind of like up their own head kind of thing. So I was really surprised when everyone was like really supportive with each other. We were all clapping for each other when we got on stage and everything. So it's really good. It's a really good environment.
Fantastic. So you win those 4. You then also, you got given a pro card. Is that right? What does that mean?
Yeah. So a pro card. So that means you compete against all the other pros now. So all the past like bodybuilders that have done the amateur show. So that show I've just done is an amateur show. So all the ones that have like basically got the pro cards will all be competing against each other. Maybe I think there's one in November, and then there's a championship in April as well next year. I don't know if I can maintain until November this year, or I might decide to add some size on and then cut again, so prepare again for April next year instead. So give myself a little break. Might be much needed.
How do you feel about the prospect of competing against the pros? I mean, you're there at that level.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a very scary one because they are all a lot bigger. They've got a lot more experience as well, because a lot of them have been doing it for years. Whereas that amateur one I've just done, a lot of them was like first timers like myself. So yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big difference as well.
Right, so let's just finish thinking about people who maybe will see the pictures of you and think, oh my word, I am never going to look like that. But perhaps, want to get more active or think maybe this is something that they could give a go. What would be your advice? What would be your words of wisdom?
To be honest, like as long as you're being active as you can, because obviously some people have jobs where they're not as active as other jobs. So, for example, myself, I work in Manx Telecom, so we walk around a lot in the shop, whereas other people would be working in, for example, an office environment where they're sat at the desk pretty much the whole day. So it's mainly just trying to be as active as possible. So maybe go for a walk on your lunch. I know the weather's not been that great recently, but, just try and walk around, because obviously when you sat down all day, it's not really that great for yourself. It's good to be active. It's good for your mind as well. It does help a lot with your mindset. And if you wanted to as well, you can obviously give my coaches a shout. They can give you advice on what you can do. So that's Danny Hands under George Wild coaching. So they can give you guys some advice as well.
And I will just ask you this: how much benefit do you think you get from working with somebody like a coach who really knows their stuff?
Oh, it's definitely a big difference, because I did try and do well, you call it a cut when you're trying to lose weight. I tried to do a cut on my own. I think it was back in 2016. I did all right, but I wouldn't have. I was nowhere near the result I got this time around, just because of the knowledge. Like, I would like avoid certain foods, but my coach has said I can have that. It's just an all in moderation, basically. Like, it's weird. It's like the way they think of stuff to combine. So, like, for example, like one of my meals was turkey mince, peanut butter, and lettuce. Like, you wouldn't think of combining all them, but it's actually really nice. I quite enjoyed that meal.
Massive congratulations, Rio, and thanks very much for chatting.
Yeah. I just want to actually give a big shout out as well to our gym, Care4. They've helped a lot as well. They've changed the opening times and everything just to suit our needs and everything like that. So they've accommodated really well for us, because obviously working a full-time job and everything, it's hard to try and get in the gym when it's not busy. So yeah, I just want to give them a big shout out too.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Little Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.